Hi, this is Hannah, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. So this week, I want to talk to you about a project that just popped up in my mailbox. I was going through my email the other day, and there was a email, and I can't even remember who it was from, but I will go back to see if I can find out. But they sent an email, and they were talking about a technique called blackout art. And I had never heard of it. This was my first experience with it. Um, and I mean, I had done different techniques with an embossing folder, but this one was new to me. So this is the project that I created using that technique. This is the paper I started with. And I didn't want to use that side, although I'm sure it would have been pretty. I wanted to use this side because what I really wanted to show off was the embossing folder. The embossing folder I used was this sunflower folder. This was a promotional item, and I got it a couple of months ago, and I had not yet had an opportunity to use it. And so this blackout art seemed like the ideal use for it. And so what you do is the side of the paper that you want to use, you deboss that side of the paper. So when you put your um, paper in, you want, and I think on the 3D folders, the way you can tell is that the one side is um, smaller than the other. That's not the case here on this particular one. So you just have to look and see which side. So when I ran this through my die cutting machine, I forgot the cardinal rule of embossing, and I did not wet this paper. So that's why I have that little white specks. But since we're going to do the blackout technique, hopefully that won't matter. And so this is called blackout. I actually like it. I like the way this embossed on this one. I don't want to do too much on here. But yeah, that looks okay. That's interesting. That's cute. So this is what it looks like on the deboss side, and this is what it looks like on the embossed side. I wanted to try this technique with another embossing folder. So I found one of my busier embossing folders, and using the same paper, I ran it through my embossing machine. And again, I wanted to do both sides just to see what it looked like, because even though the technique is for the deboss side, I just wanted to try. And I'm just using Memento Tuxedo black ink. I don't think you need a special ink, or if it's black and you rub it across the paper. And I found that depending on how much pressure you apply, that's what's going to give you your best effect. On my first one, I went back and I just kept pressing down and going over it again in different directions to sort of get the look and feel that I want. So I think this one's going to be okay. On the other side, not so much. I don't think that this is going to give me a good design, but I'll play around with it and see, because, serendipity, sometimes you fall into something that you weren't expecting. So that is the embossed side. And of course, the debossed side, the reason the effect is so nice because you get that black shadowing behind your image. So you just keep working with it, keep pressing down until you get the look and feel that you want. And of course, if you use a busier paper, you will get a different look. I decided to try this on busy floral paper to see what kind of result I would get. I wasn't impressed with how it looked, and then I kind of realized that I was on the wrong side. I needed to redo it because I had so if you don't emboss it properly, it won't work. So I tried it again, and this time I turned my paper the right way, and I'm going to see if I can't create a project with it because I liked how the flowers, I used a separate embossing folder that's even different than the one that I used on the brown paper. I just thought I'd try another embossing folder, and I really, really like the way this one turned out. So I'm thinking how I can use this on some shimmer paper. So I just have a really good feeling about what I'm going to be able to do with this particular design. I like it. Once I had achieved the background look that I wanted, and after I trimmed the edge off and applied even more black ink on it, I really did like how this was shaping up. So back to my original project. To continue building my project, I cut a piece of craft foam a little bit smaller than my panel. I colored in the center of my flowers, and then I put my panel down on the cream cardstock I knew I wanted to use. I thought it looked a little bit naked, and I wanted to dress it up a little bit. So I found one of my old Martha Stewart punches, and this one is a lattice punch that I hadn't used in quite a while, but I thought it would look good on this card. So I just cut a strip to the size of my panel and just put it on just to see if I would like how it looked, because I didn't want to move forward with the card until I was really sure how I was going to decorate the front. I guess this could have stood alone as a CAS card, but I wanted more. And when I put this lattice down, I knew this was the look that I wanted. So now I knew that I wanted to put glossy accents on my flowers. Glossy accents is a fast and easy, well, I shouldn't say fast because you have to let it dry, but it is an easy way to add visual interest to any type of floral card. And because I'm me and I'm impatient, I couldn't wait for the glossy accents to dry before going in and adding additional color to my focal panel. I just thought that this would spice it up just a little bit so it wouldn't be so much brown on brown. And it turned out really well. It looked really nice. So I like the blackout technique. I'm going to try some more embossing folders. I'm going to try different types of papers. I have a lot of wallpaper samples and vinyl and other materials, and I was thinking this technique might look really good on some of those, so I'm going to give that a try as well. But I had fun trying this technique and creating this card, and if you get a chance, you should try it. It really is it is interesting. After I had my flower all colored in, I decided that I wanted to do some stenciling on my cream cardstock. So I used tea dye distress ink, and I just picked up a random stencil that had flowers on it and stenciled that on as my background. And then I added a little fairy sending a smile. So that's how I finished it off, and I'm real pleased with it. I had fun with this. So that's it for my first pass at Blackout Art. I hope you'll give it a try and let me know how your projects turn out. If you haven't already done so, would you please hit the subscribe button? I would appreciate it. And I hope you'll come back and see me next time. Thanks again for stopping by.